Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a great day. Today, I'm actually here with two different layouts. They were such short videos that I thought I'd just combine the two together. And I'm going to be doing two 12 by 12 pages. I'm going to be doing this one here of the Tusker House, and then I'm going to be doing another one, same Disney park. We're in Animal Kingdom, but just going to be some photos of my daughter at one of the areas. I think it was like the area like Nepal, by the Himalayan kind of stuff. So I'm going to have two videos, or not two videos, two layouts today. So the first one is going to be this one, like I said, at the Tusker House. And I just mounted my photos on some tissue paper, and then I'm mounting them on this striped paper. The tissue paper kind of blended into that wood grain background, so I wanted to put the photos on something that was a little darker that to make them pop a bit. So I really like both of these photos. I guess I do two photos sometimes on a page, but sometimes I'll do just one. But in this case, I definitely wanted to use both photos. I really like the close-up of me, my mom, and my daughter. I love the little cute look and innocent look that my daughter has on her face. And then I like the background of the one on the bottom right, because you can see all the like masks and things like that at the Tusker House. I thought that was pretty cool. So this layout I did struggle with a bit. You're not going to see a lot of it because I do cut a lot of it out, but I was at a crop when I was doing this, so you can probably see in the video that I'm talking with my hands quite a bit. I try to cut a lot of that out so you wouldn't have to see me, talking with my hands, because that's not very exciting. So, for this one, I just wanted to have a cluster here in the top right. I had that view kind of finder embellishment in the bottom left that was already on the paper, so I kind of wanted to mimic a cluster here in the top right because it just needed something up here. I felt like it was too plain. So I just used some of my die cuts, some of my frames and things like that, and then I used some foam, and then I made a cluster here in the top right, and I think that looks good. It balances out that really bold gold Viewmaster slide thing in the bottom left, and then I had some of the gold embellishments still in my ephemera, and I used that camera, and I think because I had the gold in both the top right and the bottom left, it really kind of helps balance the page. So now I'm just kind of looking at the layout, trying to figure out what else I want to do. It is a little plain still. When I don't know what to do, I kind of turn it and play with it and glue more pieces down and look at it, and then try to figure out kind of what is next. So I finally decided I want to add a little dimension over here. So I have this all ears little paint swatchy looking thing. It is chipboard. It came from the 12 by 12 chipboard sheet from the Simple Stories collection that I'm using. I don't think I've mentioned it in a couple videos, but the collection I'm using is Simple Stories, Say Cheese 1 and Say Cheese 2, and I just kind of mix them up. They are a little bit different kits. One is a little more, I would say, vintagey, grungy looking, and the other one is a little more what I would call modern, but I think they work really well together, and they make it interesting to kind of combine, so it's not kind of too much the same. So I wanted to add a little border around this, and I ended up just doing a zigzag stitch on there, and that page was done. Like I said, it was pretty simple. Didn't do a whole lot with that one. So here's the second layout. This is two pictures of my daughter. I absolutely love these pictures. My favorite one is the one on the right where she's leaning up against the corner. I just absolutely love that photo, and I wanted to make sure I captured that in my album. And then the other photo on the left is just another picture of my daughter sitting on one of the walls. So I'm going to be using this Dina Wakley clear gesso. It is my absolute favorite gesso I've ever used. I used to use Liquitex. That was a bit grainy for me, and I didn't like how that looked. So I highly recommend the Dina Wakley. There is also, I mentioned in a previous video, I think, that there is a Finnabar clear gesso that you can get at Michael's. That one is super similar to this, and you can use your 40% off coupon. So that's another option. I just really like this because it's a really nice smooth gesso, and when you put it down, it doesn't leave a watermark effect. You can barely even tell that you have it on your page, which is exactly what I was looking for. So I guess it's really up to preference on what you guys want, but I really like that. So if you're looking for a gesso that's like that, then I'd recommend the Finnabar or the Dina Wakley. So I'm using some of my Lindy Stamp Gang sprays. This is in C'est La Vie, I believe. It is a flat Fabio. I really love the Lindy Stamp Gang products. I probably prefer those and shimmers to like a Heidi Swap. Heidi Swaps are nice, except they're a lot more thick and opaque, and I kind of like the translucency of the Lindy Stamp Gang and the shimmers. So again, another personal preference, depending on what you guys like. You may want to choose one over the other. If you haven't gotten any sprays yet and you're looking at getting into that, that's some of the differences I've noticed. The shimmers in the Lindy's, like I said, are a lot more translucent, where the Heidi Swapp and some of the other ones I've looked at, which I'm not sure if they're still out in the market yet, like Mr. Huey's and things like that, those are a lot more like painty like, so they're a lot thicker. I just think this flows better and it ends up looking better on the page. So that's just my preference. I thought this was a little plain. I needed to, spice it up a bit. So I'm taking some of my yellow shimmers here and I am just splattering that around the page. It doesn't add a whole lot, but just enough. It's a little hard to see on camera, but you can see it more in real life. And now I'm just taking my flowers and I grabbed some more. I was at a crop when I was doing this. I think I mentioned that at the beginning of the video. I was at a crop and they had some flowers and I wanted to add a little bit more color. I thought the blue and the red would look nice. It's kind of that Disney kind of look, plus it is in the banner. And then they had these packets here of these flowers, which I thought were super pretty. They are quite a bit dimensional, but not too much. I think they flatten out pretty nicely on the page, and I just love how they have little stamens and all that in them, and I thought that was really cute. So I'm going to be using, I believe, two of these on this page as well, maybe three. I can't quite remember. No, just two. And I really like that. I think between the like neutral flowers and then the colorful flowers, I think that sits really nicely on this page. This is probably one of my favorite pages I've made in the 12 by 12 series so far. I think more just because I just absolutely love the photos. I think that they turn out super cute. So now I'm just going to mount these onto some tissue paper. I thought they looked a little bit melting into the background, so I thought the tissue paper would kind of separate it from the background a bit. So I'm just going to put the photos on the tissue paper, and then I'm going to use my ruler to trim it out. And then I don't show it just because I was messing with it a bit. Normally I like that kind of torn edge, but it was a little too thick. And then when I went to try and trim it out more with my ruler, it was ripping, so I just ended up using my scissors. So I kind of spare you watching me do that, but you'll see that the edges are a lot more straight, I guess, when I end up putting these photos down in the end, but that's okay. So, and this tissue paper is like, I think it's like dollar store tissue paper, and it doesn't rip super nice, so that doesn't help either. It's kind of, I don't know if it's just the fibers in it or what, but it just doesn't rip as nice as like maybe a more expensive tissue paper, which is fine. I don't need it to be expensive. A lot of times I just recycle tissue paper that I get in gifts and things, but I believe this might have come from Dollar Tree. So there you go. You can see that I just mounted that with the tissue paper, and then I'm just gluing those photos down, playing with the flowers. And so now I'm happy with what this looks like. I'm going to glue everything down. I'm not going to show that all, but I'm going to glue that down and then come back with everything pretty much on the page permanently. I end up pulling the backing. This was a chipboard banner, so I just pulled that off. And with chipboard, I always add some liquid glue as well. So that's why I'm just holding it there in place to make sure that liquid glue kind of sets up a bit and it glues the banner down to the page. So once I get that banner glued down, I am going to mount this layout on some of this stripe paper. I don't mount it fully. I'm just going to be trimming off the top for sure. I can't remember if I trim off the bottom or not, but I'm trimming off the top, and I do trim it off in kind of a funky kind of wavy look. I did want it to be not really symmetrical. So I trim it off a little bit crookedy, and then I'm going to add this strip here, and I did not cut off a big enough strip. I don't know what I was thinking. So I would highly recommend a much thicker strip, like maybe an inch, not like a little quarter inch or whatever I trimmed off here, because it definitely wasn't enough, because I am going to ruffle up the edge here and it's just not going to work. And you can see here that I had extra adhesive and I'm gluing little pieces down, and yeah, maybe not my smartest moment. So I'm going to just use my fingers and then a palette knife to kind of ruffle up the edge here. And I really like how that looks, and I thought it looked nice having that darker edge at the top to kind of ground it. I know it's at the top, but I had so much going on at the bottom or towards the bottom of the layout. I wanted to have something at the top that kind of mimicked the colors that were in that banner, because those banner colors are a bit darker than the colors maybe in the flowers. So that's what I end up doing. So I'm just taking these thickers that I got from, I believe, Hobby Lobby, or no, Tuesday morning, and I'm just titling this page Sweet Girl. And that's pretty much it. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me today. If you like the video, make sure you give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. If you have any questions about anything or just want to chit chat, leave a comment below. I love hearing from you guys. And I will talk to you guys very soon. Bye bye.